This is Star Wars Battlefront 2. We're on PlayStation 5, taking a look at this really interesting and I think decently well loved after some updates and changes Battlefront experience. So this is the second Battlefront 2 if you kind of played the original back in the day, and it features a lot of different modes, a lot of different ways to play, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. So on PlayStation 5, we're inheriting the PS4 Pro settings, so that means we're getting, oh no, we're getting a 1440p target with a dynamic resolution scaling, so it actually goes lower than that. A bit of a dip from what I'm used to on the Xbox One X and Series X for this one, but it still looks relatively good, you know, quality-wise. We do get 60 FPS, there is HDR support, and yeah, it's Star Wars Battlefront. I was thinking of starting by showing off some of the campaign, and then I was like, you know what, people are here for the multiplayer, so let's just jump right into the action and do, you know, some of the Age of the Republic situation. And then Geonosis is what we ended up with. So I guess we'll talk about the story first, for those kind of unfamiliar with it. Urso is kind of the character you're following. She's got an interesting sort of backstory, and you get to see this tale that sort of goes over the dynamics of, you know, this period where basically the Empire is falling apart, there's changing of sides, changing of perspectives. You know, it's a very different sort of universe for Star Wars material, and it is supposed to be canon, so that's kind of cool too if you care about stuff that kind of matters to the overall story. There are also some cool parts with, I guess you could say, a certain Jedi guest, and that's what I usually like to show off as my big kind of set piece for doing these, showing off Battlefront 2, but, you know, on PlayStation I don't have the same progress as I do on, you know, Xbox, but yeah, it's actually still a really great game. Obviously, you get the campaign, then there's the Resurrection DLC that they released later that expanded the story more. That was like a free extra. And then past that, there's local, like, instant action if you want to play that. You know, I mean, we have online multiplayer, so I don't really see the point in it. But, you know, for some people that would like to have that option, it's cool that it is available. So past that, the multiplayer is quite expansive. It's got quite a bit of content to it, a good selection of maps to play, a good selection of heroes and villains that you can jump into if you get enough points and earn them. And then past that, we've got a bunch of different modes. So, you know, we've got heroes versus villains, which I think has a little bit of a different name in this one. But then there's, like, you know, these kind of more deathmatchy modes. And then we've got Supremacy here, which is kind of like a large-scale battle for objectives, and then you go into the opposing team's sort of ship up there, and then you try to battle and destroy that. It's a very interesting selection of content that I think comes together in a relatively appealing and well done way. You know, all the different characters, the classes, and then there's also this element of earning these cards that can kind of change your abilities a bit. They're not as in-depth or as used as they were when the game first came out, because there was so many complaints about that system within the game, so they adjusted it. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Not Count Dooku! But anyways, yeah, you get neat characters like you were seeing in the menu there, where I can kind of come in. I could be like a Wookiee or something like that if I get enough points, or you could do like a vehicle. There are some different vehicle options within the game, and it's kind of neat. So on the PS5, obviously, we get a little bit more overhead, so we should be hitting that 1440p target a little bit more on the platform, which makes sense. And yeah, it just kind of runs quite cleanly from what I've seen in regards to Dooku again, fluidity and the quality. One benefit that I find really cool in this one that I like a lot is the fact that the game seems to really do a good job of texture streaming. So that's one thing on the Xbox version, is you see a little bit more, I guess you could say, pop into a degree as you're moving around, whereas this one, it seems to be a little bit more stable in that regard, which is nice. Not generally trying to make a comparison to that platform, but obviously that's where a lot of my experience playing this game is from, so that's where I'm drawing a lot of my knowledge for this game when I'm looking at it. But it's cool to show it off here and see the difference of the title and the other platform. I mean, it plays basically exactly the same, so you could do first person or you could do third, and there's like options for switching as well. and you can do some kind of weird teabag on the ledge because you can't quite jump over it. But you know, they've got a good variety of different options for weapons and unlocks and improving your classes and your level and everything like that. You know, they offer quite a bit of just content, right? That's the thing. They've added a lot of stuff. And obviously we would want more, but, you know, I believe they're working or gearing up for Battlefront 3 at this point. So they have announced quite a while ago, actually, at this point, that they stopped adding new content to the game at this current point in time. I think they're adding, like, still, like, updates to a degree, like fixes and stuff, but they are moved past this particular experience and are working on other projects, which makes sense, right? I mean, that's just what happens over time, right? Games stop getting supported, and they move on to working on the next release or whatever. Oh, it looks like we're going on to the big ship. So this is like the second phase of it. You load up here and you kind of battle and try to end the opponent's ship location by doing so, which is kind of neat. And I'll show a little bit of this, and then we're gonna switch over to another level, so you can see a little bit of a different visual style. But I thought this was important because this is like the second part of Supremacy, and this is the mode that most people play nowadays. It seems to be the most popular one. I mean, they still do have all these like secondary multiplayer options for playing, and a kind of push objective used to be the big thing, but then they moved to Supremacy, and they really haven't looked back at all in that regard. Wah. I don't know, I think visually it's actually quite impressive. It captures the spirit of the Star Wars games in a good way, which is nice, obviously, if you're a big Star Wars fan. They usually also play the music, which I've turned off because, you know, copyright and stuff like that, which isn't great. Oh, jeez. Getting shot up here. But, you know, they just got like a range of classes and styles for different types of players. But we're going to switch over to another lobby at this point and show off a different location so you can see something else visually in action, which I think makes quite a lot of sense, just for showing a little bit more variety here since we skipped out on doing some of the campaign portion of the game. So this is another map that we're jumping into. It just happened to be Flusha, which is a beautiful level in the game. One of my favorites, I think, of the entire package. Just a stunning visual treat, usually. Now, with that, I do want to mention that there is the different eras of Star Wars. So this is like a lot of, obviously, the prequels that we just showed back to back. But they do have maps from, like, basically the, I guess you call them the sequels, and then the original trilogy as well. You get a wide range of different options for battling across the different areas. And I was kind of hoping to show off, you know, different ones, which we'll jump to another one in a bit here as well, because I'm trying to show off as many different locations as possible. But yeah, this is just too good to miss visually. It is such a treat. Pew, 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 pew. And then I guess I can also show off scoreboard-wise the, you know, pretty large rosters of players that can be available in a match, which is kind of exciting. It feels fairly lively and balanced in comparison to, say, Battlefield, that has a little bit more larger lobbies, but I think this one kind of uses the quantity of players well in regards to the size of the maps. It seems to balance out quite well, alongside having vehicles and stuff in play. Like, the vehicles are here, but it's really infantry-based for the most part, at least I feel, for most of the levels, especially as we started moving more and more towards the Supremacy-type maps. That's just really what got pushed to the forefront of this experience. But no, it's like a really great package to jump into. It's a great way to play the game if you've ever wanted to, you know, jump into Battlefront and see what it's all about. I think it's quite a splendid experience that's well put together. Provides a lot of gameplay fun for yourself, or if you've got, you know, some friends that you want to play with. Partying up is a blast as well. It's a really good time in that regard. It's really quite cool, but yeah, it is interesting how this texture's lit up so fast on this one. It's nice. Okay. So we got ourselves a droid down there. Those shield things are so obnoxious. Got him too, that's good. I don't know. I think they did a really good job with the overall package at this point. I'm very pleased with the amount of content we have. Ooh, look at those things. And just the scope of the world and the visual aesthetic of it. It's really quite nice. And you know, it seems to all run quite smoothly as well when it comes to the frame rate of the experience. They definitely hit the mark in that regard, and I'm very pleased about that as well. This one's really cool also because of this like nice little city area here. It's just kind of charming because it's up there a bit to the left. But usually when I think of this map, it's more like weird, messed up plant type things and not necessarily like an actual city that we're kind of living in, as or people are living in, as to say. I also wanted to mention that, well, since we're doing this for a lot of the PS5 review type things, there's no controller extras in this one, in case you were wondering. So, yeah, nothing's changed in that regard. So we can actually see the scoreboard there. Nice. Cool, cool. It's cool you can just click the touchpad and it pops up, which is nice. Ow. Not great. And then, you know, you're leveling up and you're using your points and everything, and then there's some cosmetic options in regards to changing up. Well, more so for your troops, but for the heroes and the villains, there are some options for adjusting their look, which is kind of fun too if you're a fan of certain Star Wars like eras or styles. You know, they have some different options for different types of people, so that's kind of nice as well. Oh, but that really covers the gist of the core experience. You know, it's this large-scale game that features a lot of maps, and it's mostly multiplayer focused. I do genuinely believe that the campaign is a good time. I do suggest playing it if you've never tried it and you're a Star Wars fan. I think you'll find it engaging and interesting, particularly some of the break levels, as to say. And it's very much a complete story too, because I don't think it's going to continue in any form, but I do want to say, you know, it feels as though it's got a completed arc to it in terms of the story, especially with the resurrection kind of extra pack. I think it really kind of closes it all off, if that makes sense, in a decent way. And I mean, the resurrection DLC isn't too long either. I think it was like about an hour or something like that. But it just kind of wraps up the story in a way that's, you know, very satisfying, at least in my opinion. So if you can, I suggest jumping in and giving it a whirl and seeing what it has to offer. Now it's Darth Maul. Lovely. Where are our heroes at, guys? Come on. I don't see any of the For the Republic kind of assistants out there, am I right? But I don't know, it's just like they really nailed the visual aesthetic here. Wow, that was a hard shot there, Bosk. Bosk got me down. Bosk's my favorite character in the in this particular game, just in terms of powers and stuff like that. Bosk is a boss, which is a treat. But yeah, just look at the level of detail in the environment too. It's kind of nuts. And the character battling going on top of that. It's kind of crazy, right? I mean, it's quite a visual treat too. It is nice to see it sort of pushing a little bit further than it has in the past. You know, just kind of having that full, smooth sort of, I guess you could say, resolution target on the platform, which is great. Pew, 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 pew. Oh no. Get out of there. I don't know, I love this map too, and it's like a weird map because there's a little bit more verticality in this one as well in comparison to the other levels that are out there. Just it feels a lot more like layered up and down wise, which is kind of cool. But I think with that, it would probably be a good time to switch over to another level, even though I would love to show off more of this one in action. I do want to try to show off as much of different, you know, settings as possible, because they did put in all the work to make all these different areas feel really lively. And there's some lovely spots for the later ones, but let's just cap that droid off and use this shotgun up here and hopefully get to a death quickly. No? Okay, I think this is a good enough cut point as any to kind of go into our next level environment. So this is obviously Hoth, a different era I wanted to target. This is a lovely map. I think they've also got two versions of this, one where it's like darker out or something. But this one, like the lighting in that really is just absolutely majestic visually in this experience. And again, you know, we've got that similar style where we're capturing points because we are in Supremacy. And we're mostly just kind of going over the gameplay just to show off more of it at this point. We talked about the campaign, we talked about the co-op and the instant action missions, and we've talked about the expansive multiplayer experience that Battlefront 2 has to offer. It's a very well-rounded game, and I look forward to hopefully having additional releases within the series as we go forward, because, you know, obviously I'd like more. It's got a long-term name to it, especially with the more classic Battlefront titles that have been a blast to revisit as well. It's a bit of a shame that they're not present on this platform, because that would be really cool, but you know, it is what it is, right? Let's keep on battling. But look at the sense of scale here, the subtle snowdrop. It's amazing. You gotta give it to DICE here. They certainly make like stunning, visually impressive like worlds, right? Like they nailed the graphic aesthetic of it. They're just like standing around. Like bots or something? Are they actually bots? No, shouldn't be. Get the snow trooper. Ow. Yeah, this map's really interesting because it's very like hillish, if that makes sense. I almost miss playing the progressional maps, because those ones are neat, since you got like different areas and stuff, and you're sort of pushing back and forth, but yeah, Supremacy definitely seems to be the better way to go. Where is the spawning's a little bit random at times, though. Oh, they got the Ewok. I think there's Ewok Hunt as well. I don't know if that's always on, but it's kind of a fun little weird thing. Down you go. Ow. So you put yourself out in the open and you just get blasted away from every direction. Oh, this map's also a little bit more vehicle friendly too, just in terms of like aerial stuff. I don't know if you've been seeing those kind of options here for playing, but down I go. I just want to get like a hero character going on. They're a little bit different to play as, but they're, you know, kind of about the same. Oh, Tauntaun! Tauntaun, Tauntaun! Tauntaun! Why isn't the Tauntaun going? There we go. Tauntaun! Tauntaun! Don't shoot me off my Tauntaun! Tauntauns are the best! Get blasted while I'm on the Tauntaun. Ugh! And then the Tauntaun just stands there because they're apparently invincible creatures in this. For whatever reason. It is what it is. Oh, jeez. But yeah, it's still quite lovely. At the same time too, like it definitely loses a little bit of its luster from what I'm used to gameplay wise. But it's still a fine way to play what this has to offer on the platform. It's really quite nice. I mean, look at the scope and the scale of it. Pew 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 pew. It'd be also nice to have the Star Wars music going on in the background, but you know, it is what it is. We've got to take E. Oh, look, there's a bit of a starship battle going on up there. Oh. That kind of battle's basically the equivalent of, like, if you've played the older Battlefield titles where they had, like, kind of plain action during matches, and it was just kind of like, there's always a bit of an awkward extra thing that's going on as well as what you're doing, so it's very similar to that. Is that Boba Fett? Of all the villains you could be, why Boba Fett? I don't get that at all. It's very weird. Somebody's a little bit powerful over there. Ugh. What a hero. Oh, I think that's a campaign main character over there. Yeah, that looks like her, so. Luke Skywalker. No! How did I miss? Oh, no, I got it. Okay, good. Now I could be the hero. Although this map is, like, brutal to be Luke in because it's so open. So we'll see how this kind of goes for me. Usually you'd want to be on, like, one of the more tighter maps, as to say, like the indoor ones and like the Death Star, or you know, where you've got like tunnels and that to go through. This one, definitely a little less friendly to be a Jedi on because it's such a large-scale opening for the area. So you just kind of get shot by things. Ugh. So we need to get out of here before we die as the powerful Luke Skywalker in his prime. That's for sure. Oh look, it's Yoda battling on Hoth for some reason. I guess he got a little bit more spry in his old age. You get this guy just like running away here.
My team's not through yet.
Trying to run away from Luke Skywalker. Unbelievable.
Good people are dying while we fight.
The Force is strong with this one. Who is shooting Luke Skywalker? Oh, guess that guy was. Sucks to die. And I don't have enough points for him again. What a heartbreaker. We literally lost all the positions. So I guess with that we're going to try to show off a little bit more of one more map, just so we see a little bit of variety here. Look at these beautiful Star Destroyers. Lovely. And I thought we'd finish off with a little bit of sequel action. Not a whole lot, but a little bit of it to enjoy. I guess I can show off the third person quickly so you can see what that's like. You know, that option is present. It's just kind of holding down on the left D-pad. I don't know what you specifically call it on the dual sense, but you know, yeah, just some different level designs. That's for sure something a little bit unique to this era, of course, which I don't know, does this one have a lot of maps, this era of Star Wars? I can't even really think of any cool places they really went to aside from like Crate or something like that. I mean, this is basically just another forest world, right? Getting thrown into the action. Oh, jeez. Pulled out the shotgun. Nobody here. Ugh, but there is. So I love how dirty the characters get too on the environment. I think that's quite a nice touch. Those are definitely bots, right? Yeah, those are definitely bots. That's interesting. Why are there bots? It's a bit odd, I have to say. Let's get in there, troops. Prepare for an epic battle. Yeah, this is also a very weird map too, the more I think about it. Just the fact that it's got like these really kind of high points to it, and then these very, very low spots where you just get like slaughtered with them. Really carves up the battlefield. Whoa! Got sent absolutely flying there. Maybe we'll do something weird. The Sith Trooper. Oh, that's cool. I don't think I've ever been a Sith Trooper before. There's like a bit of a dangerous red look to it. I like it. I mean, it really stands out in like a terrible kind of way because you just get shot more, but it's definitely neat. This is a very weird character. Seems to do more like short burst attacks. Definitely cool. But anyways, Battlefront 2, you know, I think it looks pretty good on the platform. Definitely a decent experience for sure. Oh jeez. And I hope this was a good enough presentation of what the game is running like and looking like on PlayStation 5, because it is was definitely a large install to get this one going on the platform. I was genuinely a bit shocked by it, but you know, it's still fun to play, so it's not at all a big issue for me to wait a little bit to jump into it and see what it has to offer, because it's still quite a fun experience, that's for sure, and definitely worth trying out if you've never enjoyed the action of the Battlefront. Ugh.